Happy July, everyone. Happy 4th of July. June did not go as expected for us or our family at all. Our children's school for the summer program was shutting down a lot for some construction, so nothing kind of went as planned. Not a lot of missions itinerating happened in June. And the last week in June, I was supposed to be at Royal Family Kids Camp that I had done last year, committed to again for this year, to work with kids who are in foster care from ages 6 to 12. And then we got word the week before that our kids' school was going to shut down again that week. So we pivoted. Everybody loves that word, right? And we didn't have backup childcare readily available, so I had to stay home. Thankfully, they worked it out on the camp end, and the director, I had gotten a call from a child who wasn't able to make it. They moved people around and worked it out on their end. And we stayed home. I stayed home with my boys all week, and God knew that I needed to be home. We have a smaller apartment, so we don't take in a lot of new placements of kids coming into foster care a lot, and they only call us when there's a real need and they literally have nowhere else for children to go. So they had called us about a young baby girl and said, there was an older brother, and I was like, well, what are you doing with him? And so God knew we needed to be here because there was kids that needed a place, they needed family. And so the first night we got both siblings, and then they're always trying to place siblings together, but they found a placement for the young baby girl, and so they moved her and then asked if we would, commit to keeping our home open and available for the older brother, which we did. And he was supposed to be here till mid-week after the holiday, but they happened to find a placement sooner. And in our ideal world, in my ideal mindset, when a kid has to be removed, the ideal scenario is that children and those kids would be placed together into the first home that they're in, and that home would see them through to permanency. And today I packed up a child and all of his things and sent him with the social worker in the midst of the unknown after he has built trust with us for a week. I know, it's only been a week, right? Why are you so upset? The emotion's kind of raw because it's a week of committing to loving this child as your own. We watched our kids, they, played with him and loved on him, and we're asking last night, well, can he stay longer? And can he stay, well, he likes our family better, so he can stay with us. And I said, it's not up to us. It's, ultimately it's in God's hands, and we prayed together over his life and his future. And while they were trying to place the kids together, that's not happening. They had to move them out of their community. And what, in my mind, honestly, and what I would think would be an easy placement in their own community, these kids already have school set up, daycare set up, that they could continue those relationships and just be put into one foster home together. It's not like a sibling group of 5 that will have to be split up. There was 2. And ideally, they'd be placed in our town and get to go to their same school. But that's not ideal. Even the social workers were like, this is not ideal, moving them across the state because we just don't have enough foster homes. And so, I can't explain to this child why, you built trust with our family and you have a routine and, you're feeling comfortable here, but now we're having to send you away, and that's the last thing I want. But ultimately, they didn't ask us to keep him long term. We weren't trying to, but if it's within my power, I'm like, we have to do something. And Ken and I sat down and had a long talk last night, is this ideal? We're going to be gone for a week for general counsel. We're going to be gone and traveling and itinerating, and is that the best situation for this boy? And I don't know. All I know is God's will is that this boy would know him and know how much he's loved by God, and that God has a plan for his future and for his family. And so I wanted to be a part of that journey. but it's not up to us. Literally everything's out of our control in the foster care world. So if you hear me calling you, if I'm knocking on your doors, it's about these kids. And we sat down, and that's why we have to fundraise. That's why we have to be fully funded, so that we can do all of the things. We can recruit. Part of my responsibility is to help our local child welfare office, our local DCF, recruit families. And this is just more evidence as the needing more families willing to open up their home and their hearts and just love on these kids and walk them through healing. And honestly, it was like a joy to have them. It was chaotic, and we went from 2 kids to 4 kids to 3 kids, and they just kind of fit right in. There's just a lot more work for us, but this is kind of where we're at. It's July. We're a few months away from having to meet our goals for being missionaries, fully appointed, and we're not there. It's like kind of just been bad news all month, and we just lay our lives back in the hand of God, and He just reminded us this week of why we do what we do, why we're called to do this, because there's such a great need, and His heart breaks. So this is July. This is where we're at. We are loving kids who need homes, and we are asking for more prayer partners. We're asking for more people to open their homes and their hearts, for more churches to get on board and ask their families to do that. We want healthy, strong families who love Jesus, that aren't perfect, but they're willing to do the messy work. And so we're going to be calling churches, we're going to be calling people. This is why we're doing this. And we just kind of keep that at the forefront of our mind. Ken did get to do 3 Rural Family Kids Camp fundraisers, golfing, and he got to talk to a lot of pastors and people, and that was kind of our contribution to Rural Family Kids Camp this year. And if you want to start one in your area, because we need more, or if you want to help with one, there's a link on the newsletter where you can get involved and volunteer and see what it's all about. If you're like, well, I can't do, the full-time having kids in our home, but I could give up a week and do some training. Find how you can get involved, because our intern came over the night within the hour that the kids were going to come. I was like, our house really isn't prepared for a baby. I haven't had a baby. We don't have a high chair. We don't have a crib anymore. And she came over and helped clean everything out and get all the little Legos that my boys are into, clean those up. And so, she was around. She helped me in the transition times, just caring for our kids so that we could talk with the social workers and do those things. Those people are needed too. And the people that donated the items to DCF and to child welfare, that was able to bring the pack and plays and the porter beds and the diapers that we needed, like all of those pieces are so important. So this is my plea, is that you guys would join us in prayer for this mission, that you would join us in partnership, help us get fully funded so that we can do this work full time, so that the need isn't so massive, because everyone has a part in responsibility for caring for it, and that these kids don't fall through the cracks like this. And I don't blame anybody, like really, I don't blame the system. It's not their fault, it's not its fault. We need to step up, and we just need more families. Honestly, we just need more people to say yes. And that's my request to you. Would you say yes?